Automatic cars are everywhere, and they make driving a breeze. They're easy to handle and perfect for beginners. But here's the thing, driving one the wrong way could lead to serious damage that costs you big time. If you want your car to stay reliable and your wallet to stay intact, this video is your ultimate guide. We're revealing 19 things you should never do in an automatic car, mistakes most people don't even realize they're making. And there's one tip in here that might completely change the way you drive. Skip it, and you might just regret it the next time your mechanic hands you the bill. Let's jump in. Mistake number 19, driving with 2 feet. Using 2 feet to drive an automatic car might seem like a shortcut to better control, but it's actually a fast track to trouble. Automatic cars are built for 1-foot driving. Using both feet can lead to confusion, especially in a sudden stop. Keeping your left foot on the brake, even a little, adds constant pressure. This is called riding the brake, and it wears down your brake pads fast. Over time, this leads to overheating, brake failure, and some costly repairs. Replacing those brakes could set you back anywhere from $115 to $270 per axle. But there's more. Using 2 feet can mess with your muscle memory. In a panic, your brain might get mixed up, making you press the wrong pedal. That could end badly. Now, driving with 2 feet isn't illegal, but it's a habit better left to the pros on the racetrack, not your daily drive. Stick to 1 foot and stay safe. Mistake number 18, hard launches or hard acceleration. When you step on the gas, fuel mixes with air. This creates an explosion that moves the piston. The faster this process happens, the more stress it puts on your car. Imagine your engine jumping from 900 RPM to over 10,000 RPM in seconds. That's more than 10 times faster. Revving up too fast puts pressure on the engine, clutch, gears, and bearings. Sure, your car is built to handle tough conditions, but constant hard launches wear things out quickly. That's why race cars need frequent maintenance. They deal with extreme acceleration all the time. If you keep flooring it, you'll wear out key components faster. Smooth and steady acceleration is the smart way to drive. It keeps your car running longer and saves you money in the long run. Mistake number 17, changing gears when the car is still moving. Throwing your car into the park while it's still moving puts unnecessary strain on the parking pile. That is a small but crucial lever designed to lock your car in place, not stop it from moving. Sooner than you'd expect, this bad habit wears down the pail, and in the worst cases, it can snap. If that happens, other parts, like the locking pin or output shaft, could also get damaged. And if your park function fails, your car might start rolling on sloppy grounds. If you ever hear a grinding noise when shifting into park, that's a warning sign. It means the powel is struggling to lock in place. Similarly, never switch from drive to reverse, or vice versa, without a full stop. It puts huge stress on the transmission and could cost you over $3,000 in repairs. A few newer cars are smarter and won't let you shift until you've come to a full stop. Mistake number 16, unnecessary performance modifications. Unnecessary mods can mess with your car's reliability. They can also hurt fuel efficiency and even void your warranty, and that means costly repairs down the road. Sure, mods can make your car look unique and stand out, but when it comes to automatics, the risks often outweigh the rewards. If you're after better performance, you're better off with a car designed for it. A manual transmission gives you more control, making upgrades more effective. Automatics just don't respond the same way, and that can leave you feeling disappointed. Some drivers stick to cosmetic upgrades, like new wheels or a sleek body kit. That's fine. But performance mods? Things like engine tuning or transmission tweaks, They can cause serious long-term damage. Automatic cars aren't built to handle that kind of stress, and pushing them too hard could lead to breakdowns. Instead of throwing money at mods, save money for a car built for performance. Mistake number 15, revving on a cold engine. When the engine is cold, parts like pistons and rings haven't fully expanded. They don't fit well together, which can cause unnecessary wear and damage. Cold revving creates abrupt temperature changes, putting stress on the engine's tight components. This stress can lead to long-term damage. When you start the engine, oil hasn't had time to circulate properly. The oil is thicker when cold and doesn't flow well, so it's harder to lubricate the engine parts. Revving too soon forces the engine to work with inadequate lubrication, which leads to excessive wear. To avoid this, always let the engine warm up before driving aggressively. On a hot day, let the engine idle for at least 1 minute. On colder days, give it 5 minutes. This gives the oil time to circulate and ensures the engine parts are properly lubricated. Don't rely solely on the coolant temperature gauge. Oil heats up slower than coolant, so the engine may still be cold even if the gauge shows it's warm. Mistake number 14, turning off the car before it's in park. Always keep your foot on the brake when shifting into park. Then, set the parking brake before letting go. It's a simple habit, but trust me, it can save you from some serious trouble. Well, most modern cars won't even let you turn off the engine unless it's in park. It's a built-in safety that saves you from embarrassing mistakes. But if your car does let you shut it off while it's still in gear, you're playing with fire. Here's why. First, your car could roll away if you forget the parking brake. In neutral, it can drift in both directions. In drive or reverse, it'll still move, just in one direction. Either way, that's a disaster waiting to happen. And then there's the starting problem. Modern cars won't start if left in gear, thanks to safety features. But if these fail or are bypassed, it can strain the drivetrain and transmission. Mistake number 13, neglecting transmission fluid changes. Your car transmission needs clean fluid to work smoothly and stay cool. After a while, the fluid breaks down, loses its effectiveness, and can cause costly damage. Yes, repair is almost impossible, and replacement costs go up to $1,500. Older cars usually have a transmission dipstick, making it easy to check fluid levels. But many newer cars don't. Always check your owner's manual to see if your car has one and how to check it properly. The process involves parking on a level surface, warming up the engine, shifting through gears, and then checking the level in park. It's not just about the level. Fluid condition matters too. Good fluid should be bright red or pink. If it's dark, dirty, or has metal shavings, it's a red flag. The dirty fluid causes slipping, overheating, and even transmission failure. If the fluid looks foamy, it might mean someone overfilled it, which can lead to leaks and pressure issues. On the other hand, low fluid can cause serious wear and overheating. Mistake number 16, coasting on neutral while driving downhill. In newer cars, the engine automatically cuts off fuel when you're slowing down in gear. So, coasting in neutral won't save you gas, and in some states, it's actually illegal. Coasting in neutral also puts your safety at risk. When the car is in neutral, you lose control over your speed and acceleration. If an emergency happens, you won't have the power to speed up quickly to avoid danger. Instead of coasting, downshift manually using the 2 or 1 gears. This keeps you in control while maintaining a safe speed. Always drive at a comfortable pace and follow the posted speed limits. Also, coasting in neutral can add unnecessary wear to your car. Shifting back into drive from neutral while the engine is idling puts extra strain on your drivetrain. It also makes you rely more on your brakes, which means they wear out faster. This is just one of many fuel myths that could be costing you more than you think. Want to know more? Click to watch other 9 fuel myths stupid people fall for. Let's keep moving. Mistake number 11, idling the car and drive for too long. While it won't directly damage the drivetrain, idling does put unnecessary strain on the engine and other components. When your car idles, the engine keeps running, firing the cylinders and using electrical parts like the alternator and belts. This might seem harmless, but over time, it adds wear and tear without adding miles to the odometer. Ever heard car ads brag about highway miles? There's a reason for that. Highway driving puts less stress on your engine than city driving, where idling is more common. When you let your car idle too long, you're slowly wearing it down without even moving. A couple of minutes won't hurt, but if you're sitting in drive for 30 to 40 minutes, that's like a long city commute with constant stop-and-go traffic. And let's talk about fuel efficiency. Idling doesn't let your engine work at its best. It leads to incomplete combustion, which can cause carbon buildup and foul your spark plugs. That means higher fuel consumption. Even worse, unburnt fuel can mix with your engine oil, making it less effective and forcing you into more frequent oil changes. If you're going to be waiting, it's better to switch to park or just turn off the engine. Mistake number 10, turning off the engine immediately after a hard drive. In manual cars, you naturally cool things down by downshifting as you slow. But automatics work differently. They keep power running longer, meaning your engine stays hotter when you stop. When you turn off the engine too soon, you stop the oil and coolant flow. These systems help cool things down, but when they stop too early, heat gets trapped inside. This is called hot soak, and it can make parts overheat and wear out faster. Modern cars are built to handle heat better than older ones. But if your car has a lot of miles on it, things like cracked exhaust manifolds can become a real issue. The stress from all that heat can take a toll over time. If you're driving a turbocharged car, it's even more important to let it cool down. Turbos spin at incredibly high speeds, sometimes over 100,000 RPM. Shutting the engine off too soon cuts the oil flow, which can lead to serious damage in the long run. Mistake number 9, frequent engine cycling. Turning your engine on and off too often causes unnecessary wear. While shutting it off occasionally won't do much harm, constant cycling can take a toll over time. Every time you start the engine, critical components like the starter motor and battery work harder. And remember, parts that get used more wear out faster. You need to know when it actually makes sense to turn off the engine. If you're at a quick stoplight, keeping it running is fine. But if you're stuck in traffic for several minutes, shutting it off can help reduce wear. The latest car versions now come with auto start-stop features, which automatically shut down the engine when you stop. This proves that occasional shutdowns aren't harmful and can even improve fuel efficiency. However, doing it manually too often might create other issues. Frequent restarts can flood the engine, put strain on the battery, and even wear out ignition components. Plus, the fuel saved might not be worth the extra effort. Restarting the engine uses fuel too, so in most cases, idling for a short time, like a minute or two, is perfectly fine. Mistake number 8, resting your hand on the shifter lever. This habit might seem like no big deal, but trust me, it is. That slight pressure? It's wearing down your car's transmission, and you don't even realize it. Day by day, you put a strain on the shift fork and synchronizer, which can lead to rough shifting. If you press too hard, it wears down the brass synchronizer ring. The weight of your hand might not feel like much. But think of it this way. Leave a brick on your lawn, and you'll eventually see a dent in the grass. In the same way, resting your hand on the shifter can wear out the linkage over time. The constant vibrations from the engine and gearbox add stress. which makes shifting feel loose and unresponsive over time. Some newer cars might be a bit better at handling this. They use Morse cables instead of direct linkages, which help absorb vibrations and reduce wear. But that doesn't mean you're off the hook. It's still a good idea to avoid resting your hand on the shifter. Instead, keep both hands on the wheel or use the armrest. Mistake number 7, driving through deep waters. This is a fast track to trouble if you didn't know. Your car's transmission has vents to release pressure, which works fine until those vents start letting water in. In four-wheel drives, these vents sit higher, keeping water out. But in regular cars, they're positioned much lower, right on the transmission itself. That means driving through deep water can allow water to seep in, and that's when the trouble begins. When water mixes with transmission fluid, it turns into a thick, milky mess. This mess breaks down the glue that holds your clutch packs together. And once that happens, your clutch plates won't last long. The worst part? The damage can happen in just a few hours. Think draining the fluid will fix it? You are wrong. Once water gets inside, your transmission starts slipping, and soon it could completely fail. Fixing it isn't cheap, and in most cases, a full replacement is needed. So, if you're not driving a rugged off-roader, avoid deep water at all costs. Remember, oil and water don't mix. It's not just a saying, it's a costly reality. Mistake number 6, putting the car in park without pulling the handbrake. The parking pal inside your transmission is designed to hold the car in place, but it's not as strong as the handbrake. Relying on it alone, especially on a hill or uneven ground, can lead to trouble. When you park on an incline or in a windy area, your car's weight puts pressure on the parking pal. With time, this strain can wear it down or even cause it to fail. And if that happens, your car could start moving. The handbrake is an extra layer of protection. It takes the weight off the transmission and helps prevent damage. Even if you're parked on flat ground, using the handbrake is a smart habit. It's a simple step that can save you from costly repairs down the road. Skipping the handbrake once or twice might not seem like a big deal, but the stress adds up over time. Engine mounts and bushings can weaken, and the locking pin eventually fail. To park safely, always apply the handbrake before letting go of the brake pedal. When you're ready to drive, press the brake pedal, shift into gear, and then release the handbrake. Mistake number 5, ignoring dashboard warning lights. 6 out of 10 drivers ignore dashboard warning lights until their car breaks down. But those little lights aren't just there for show. They're early warnings that something's wrong. Ignoring them can lead to expensive damage, or worse, a breakdown in the middle of the road. Manual car drivers tend to react faster. Why? Because they know their cars need more hands-on attention, and they'd rather avoid the hassle of a breakdown. But automatic drivers? They often take those warning lights for granted until it's too late. If a warning light comes on, don't panic. Stay calm and pull over to a safe spot. Take a moment to check your car's manual and figure out what the light means. Knowing what to do ahead of time can help you act fast and avoid bigger problems. Now, some lights need your immediate attention. Red warning lights mean serious trouble. We're talking about things like brake system issues, overheating, or low oil pressure. Things you should never ignore. Amber or yellow lights usually aren't as urgent, but they still need attention. They're often reminders for things like tire pressure or engine service. Mistake number 4, missing a gear when shifting. In automatic cars, shifting gears is handled by the vehicle itself, but sometimes you'll need to shift manually, like when moving from drive to reverse or neutral. The key is to follow the right sequence and never skip gears. Doing it wrong can put unnecessary strain on your transmission. When using the gear selector, be smooth and deliberate. Forcing it or rushing through can wear down important parts inside. Automatic transmissions are built to shift effortlessly, so let them do their job without interference. And here's something to watch out for. Never skip a gear when shifting manually. Some drivers, out of habit, move the shifter too fast or miss the intended gear. This can throw off the transmission and impact performance. Always shift carefully to keep things running smoothly. The bottom line? Take it slow, shift in the right order, and trust your automatic to do what it was designed for. Your drive will be easy and effortless. Mistake number 3, tailgating and late braking. Tailgating reduces your reaction time and increases the risk of collisions. In an automatic car, it's even trickier. Automatic transmissions can mask the sensation of speed, making it easy to misjudge stopping distances. That's why keeping a safe distance is so important. It gives you enough time to react and brake smoothly. And here's the thing, staying on the throttle right up to the moment you hit the brake is a bad habit. Instead, scan the road ahead and figure out where you need to ease off the gas. Letting off the throttle early allows your vehicle to slow down. Experienced drivers will tell you, it's not just a smart safety move, it's also a great way to save fuel. Now, in manual cars, taking your foot off the gas while shifting gears naturally slows the vehicle. But automatics work differently. They keep power going, so you have to be more calculated with your acceleration and braking. It's all about balance. With only the gas and brake to work with, knowing when to let off the throttle can make a big difference. Mistake number 2, engine braking. Engine braking in an automatic car means using the gears to slow down instead of the brake pedal. You'll be shifting from drive, D, to a lower gear, such as low, L, or second, 2, especially when descending steep hills. This might sound like a smart way to control speed, but it's not a good idea. Automatic transmissions are built to shift smoothly on their own. Forcing them into lower gears to slow down can put unnecessary strain on the system. Relying too much on engine braking can put extra stress on the transmission and engine components. These parts aren't built to handle constant deceleration forces. Over time, it can lead to overheating, increased friction, and even premature failure. Instead of downshifting to slow down, it's best to use the brake pedal lightly and consistently. Using your brakes properly helps you maintain better control and extends the life of your transmission. If you find yourself driving downhill, avoid the temptation to shift into lower gears. Mistake number 1, skipping regular maintenance schedule. Life gets busy, and it's easy to ignore those routine checks. But here's the truth. What you skip today can come back to haunt you with expensive repairs and safety risks down the road. Today's automatic cars can go longer between oil changes, sometimes up to 7,500 miles or more. But just because they can, doesn't mean they should. Regular oil changes keep the engine running smoothly. Skipping them can lead to sludge buildup, poor performance, and, eventually, engine failure. And engine repairs? They don't come cheap. Ignoring maintenance also hurts fuel efficiency. Old oil, dirty filters, and worn-out spark plugs make your engine work harder. This means more fuel consumption and more trips to the gas station. It's not just about the engine. Neglecting things like worn tires, brake pads, or windshield wipers can put your safety at risk. These small parts keep you in control on the road, and ignoring them can lead to dangerous situations. Thinking of selling your car? A poorly maintained vehicle loses value fast, and with automatic cars taking over the roads, buyers have options. If you want a good deal, your car better be in top shape, or you'll be stuck with it. You've just unlocked the 19 things you should never do in an automatic car. But if you're also rocking a manual, don't think you're off the hook. Manual drivers have their own set of bad habits that can lead to expensive repairs. Watch our next video, 13 Deadly Mistakes Manual Drivers Make That Kill Your Car.